Hello, beloved humans. Today I'm going to talk about how matriarchy creates cultures of peace in real life. And we're going to start again with dropping into our bodies, because this is our power, this is our mother in every moment, our body, and it's our tool to connect to Mother Earth. So let's just drop into the body. If you need, close your eyes, that helps. Or you can lay down, or you can just, let the outer world be and come to yourself, to your inner landscapes. And feel the gravity that is holding you here on this planet Earth, and that unites us all in the center of this earth. So that we remember that this Mother Earth, she teaches us everything about mothering. That peace is possible on Earth, I know that in my bones. And I so deeply yearn to give everything that I have to contribute that this is possible. And maybe it's not possible in my lifetime, maybe not even in the lifetime of my daughter, but I know that it is now that we set the realities, the ground for that one day peace on Earth is really a reality in every corner for every life form. And I deeply know that rematriation, matriarchy, is a big part of that. In fact, I actually believe only if we are living the life principle to bring back the mother to the center, which means bringing life back to the center, we will be able to create the realities and the cultures of peace and the infrastructure of peace. And so it is for me an invitation today for you, dear listener, for you, dear human, for you, dear soul, to find that aspect within yourself where you know, like, okay, this is my contribution to create peace in my real life. And I'm going to try to show you like how the matriarchy is helping you to do that in your own life. Because there are several principles that are key, and if we put that in every structure in our everyday life, in our relationships, in our friendships, in our companies, in our communities, in our societies, as living principles into action, into reality, everything is going to change. So I want to talk about what are these values that the mother brings. Why is the mother so important for life, for this planet? First one is really the deep, deep care for life. That is the mother principle. I care for life. I am a channel for life. And so it's not about like, okay, what can I be, but how can I serve life? How can I take care of this life that has its own reality and its own necessity? And we mothers do it, and of course there's a lot of unconscious patterns where that is not fully happening right now in this world, and even in myself. But the more I really deepen my motherhood with these principles and really remember like that is the design of it, I really become a vessel where life is doing, coming through, like physically, emotionally, energetical wise. It's really this being a portal between the unseen and the seen realms of life. So that is really, this caring about life is a reality. And so if we really ask like what one's life, how can I serve life in every situation, we make such different choices. And I can say that from my own mothering, like I want my daughter Yara to be herself. Even if she at a certain point, and she's gonna do that, like push against me in my reality so that she can experience who she truly is. And I want her to do that. Of course, I can, hopefully till then, I have taught her, or even betterly said, I have lived enough self-love and self-respect and self-care that she can do that in a respectful, loving and caring way. Like really saying like, hey, listen, I am my own being. So, that this is a big part of the mother principle. We know that that is going to happen. And nevertheless, I give everything that I have. So there's something very deeply selfless in the true mothering. There are a lot of distortions, but in true mothering, there's something that is really selfless and that is really willing to die for that next life form. That is willing to give up so much for that next life form. So this deep caring, this really incarnated caring is just as the core value, which we are lacking so much, like these true cultures of care, that we really care for each other, that we truly are willing, to move our realities because we care for someone else. Then another principle is we understand, like again, on a physical level, that our job is not done just in birthing a child. It's like this long arc of service that goes through generations, because we know that the way how my child is gonna live its life, it's gonna impact so many other life forms and so many other generations if that's gonna happen. And so we understand this deep, interconnected, long-term consequences, like literally over generations. And so there is a natural interest to be in the long term, not in this short-term gratification and short-term decisions. And like we really understand that the consequences of our actions and of everything what we live has a much bigger and a much more impactful arc than our existing cultures do. And again, if we are connected with that, we are interested to create an environment, to create realities, to create cultures that nurture all life forms. And this brings me to point 3, or it's not a point, but just another point, another value, which is mothering is not interested ultimately in ideology. It's interested in its diversity united and meeting and interconnected in real life situations where just life in all its expressions is at the center. And we know that no mother wants that their child goes to war for no religion. Because we know that even if we have different cosmologies and different beliefs and different values, there is one uniting reality, one relating truth that connects us all. Sorry, today I'm a bit stumbling over my English because I really feel like today I somehow not so easily to not speak my mother tongue, which is Swiss and Dutch. But really this, one uniting truth, that life is at the center. So we don't have to fight around religion, beliefs, ideas. We can be interested We can listen to each other, like, okay, this is how you see it. And still, like, it's like I really often see the true mother invites everyone to the table and nurtures them. And even if we have different discussions and can see like, oh, I see it like this and I see it like that and this is how I see it, there is an alive dialogue around the different values, and that, there's a beauty in the differentiation of how we can experience and see life different. But still, the mother principle is here to nurture all. And there is, again, the next value is decisions are made in circles, in spirals, in coming together. And where we integrate the different realities and make decisions from there, and not that just one knows everything and makes decisions for all others. Mothers are truly here, designed to be curious about everyone in the tribe, and about everything that impacts the child. It's our natural understanding that everything is interconnected. So whatever my child is going to experience on whatever level is important. So there is really this circle integration and the circle decision making. So that comes to another value, which is power is shared. It's something that is alive. We know, like, even if we are, maybe the most centered woman in certain moments, of birth or of other important decisions, we know that everything goes in cycles and in seasons and has its timing. So then we go to another, then the life force goes to another woman, and it goes to another reality, goes to another man, goes to another child, goes to another elder. So we have this deep knowing that everything goes in cycles and in movements, and we care about that. So there is like really this power is something that is alive and then in movement, and it goes, now there is something powerful happening, now this power is happening, and also the different forms of power, like, again, this cyclic. We know that from our children. We know that sleep is equally important, and eating is equally important, and being creative, and having relationships, like all these different aspects of being human are equally important, because we know how everything has a consequence. Like yesterday I had a moment of that Yara, she wouldn't sleep at noon, and then I had to listen, like, okay, how can I respond to that now? Because I felt like I need to go outside, but I also felt that she needs some inward time because she had a very intense morning. And so I was like, then, okay, how can I do that? Then I was like, swapping around my plans and just feeling like, okay, I feel like she just needs to be in our intimacy, but also by herself, and just that we go and walk, and that she can collect her seeds and leaves, because that is something that she really loves. And that's what we did. And at the same time I was caring about myself, which was I need to go outside. So we just went in a different stream of reality to just care about, because I know everything impacts the next thing. And so there's always this balance of like, okay, how can I take care of my need and of her need and of the others' needs also of the tribe? And like really there's always something that is balancing, that is seeing like, okay. And yeah, this is a very important also, that we understand that power is something that is alive and moving, and that is shared. I want to bring it to the real, like how does that impact to relationships, to companies, to communities, to social structures. So let's take a real life example. Now I would love if someone live would be here, but let's just take an example for each. And I can just do it for my own being. I think that is the most concrete in this moment, because I am here alone in this new form, exploring. So what I realized is in my own relationship and family, because we mothers also tend to, because we have this natural caring about others, one of our biggest challenges is that we don't care enough about ourselves, and we forget about our needs and our boundaries, and we are in this overgiving because it's almost something cannot differently. And then very often if we do that, then there is a backlash. And so if I really have the practice and prayer on in my center of like, okay, what does life need, which includes me as a mama, then I care also about myself. And this is something that I really am learning in my life, is that the more I actually truly care about myself, I become such a better servant for everyone else. Like when I don't care enough for myself, which has happened the last months like several times, I just was so depleted because I couldn't sleep. I didn't have enough nutrition, enough food, the right things. I didn't communicate it clear. I didn't organize it enough clear. And I really felt like how my brain didn't, in moments was not able, or is sometimes still not able to function properly. And then I become stressed, and then I don't have buffer for when someone else needs something and there's a crisis, and it really then spirals into this stress, like this mirroring. And so it really is like, okay, but if I listen to myself and I understand that I am this threshold for life, then I can see like, okay, this is important for me, so that I can really take care of everyone else. And the more I can do that, the more actually I become the best mother for everyone. So there's an interesting, like really this responsibility and this mirror. So this is in my family, in my real life, and in my relationship also. Even if I feel like there is still like learning so much, and there's still like such a deep path that I am on with my husband. But also there, like what I've understood just now in these last days and weeks is something that is the most important for him is actually if I express what I feel like really deeply in my body and in my heart. And also I have traces of the cultures that I come from, which is Europe and the capitalistic and the highly functional culture. I also have implemented in my own reality a lot of functionality, which is not the deepest service for my husband and for my family. Like I often have to okay, stop. Now it's not about just functioning. Now it's actually to drop deeper and to share and to create connection. And once that connection is created, I actually can, often I can then even outsource something. That means my husband says hey, I can do this. I actually like to support you and I love to, help you, and I now understand this is something that I can do, so I do it. And so then and again also with the tribe, so there is really a reorganizing of okay, what needs to be done from a place of being in connection. And that brings me to another value which I didn't share before, but which is one of the core values is emotional regulation, which deeply again impacts our nervous system. And so to really learn how can we, because emotions are very important. They are a big part of our sensing, feeling, cosmology, reality of being human. And if we don't give enough space and enough real presence with that, then undigested, unintegrated emotions start to spiral and become these bizarre choices and reactions and realities that are happening all over the planet. Because in many ways we are all wounded children who want to compensate for something. So it's really the way how we can hold spaces, and again this is really core of mothering, hold spaces for emotions to be felt. The more we can regulate ourselves, so it comes to regulated nervous systems, which is key for everything. And then we can make different choices because then we are back in in our centers, and we can actually be in a creative space. So again, this is key for me as a mother. If I'm not regulated, if I'm losing myself, which I'm still so much learning, it spills over in every direction. So it's really this, okay, can I put my own emotions in a way that they're not blaming and shaming, but like really, like, okay, this is what I feel. And then start to see, like, okay, if we are in this deep listening together, then we can organize our family movements differently. And this goes in a family, but also in a community, and also in a system. And what if we, in a system, in a society system, political system, have actually a space for grieving, and the space for wonder, and the space for rage, and the space for what else? For feeling, just really also. If that is part of our infrastructure, of our consciousness, if instead of going into these fights of polarities and, like, oh, no, but I'm right, no, but I'm right, no, but I'm right. What if we have an understanding, like, okay, here are things present, here are things moving. Can we hold a container where that can be expressed in a safe way, in an authentic way, without, being reacted to, but actually listened to and also felt into, and then like responded to? Like, how would that change our landscapes in every direction? And how would we create our infrastructures? How would we create schools? How would we create education? How would we create food systems? That we are so deeply attuned in our nervous systems, in our sensuality and sensitivity, that we feel when someone is emotionally unwell, and can actually give space to it. Because this is another big part of mothering. It's to hold space for things to get moved. And the way how we hold space and the way how we hold ourselves creates like really a culture of peace, because it creates a connection. And peace always means we connect, and we go a process together. We really learn to listen to each other, and we find pathways together. It's not, this fast fix solution and then creating 10 other problems with that, but actually to be in the, understanding that it is deep. Those are questions and processes that go very deep, and often they go back generations, and also will impact generations. And to really have that, to hold that as sacred, like the emotions, and that we can process it and that we can integrate it. I feel this is also such an important part, that if we bring that into our different realities and structures, it has such a profound impact. Because really peace is connection. It's the most heartbreaking when we hear about, the different cultures that are at war right now. And then that we actually ask, like, have you actually spoken to people from the other, from the other side? Do you know people? Have you actually connected, not just on a superficial or in a dramatic, moment, but really, did you have a meal with them? Did you meet their families? Did you visit their lands? Because we are not that different. Like, no matter what to what God or what aspect of God I pray, because for me it really is this, big force that unites all of the different pathways. We are not that different. We all are humans. And so whenever I feel there is a conflict, again, this I can bring into my relationships, into my communities, into my friendships, into my work, into political landscapes. If I feel like, oh, there's something that really triggers me, can we try to actually connect and actually ask questions and actually be interested? Can we hold a space of emotional movement, and that we don't need to jump and react on? This is a culture of peace. Let me take another example, or some other examples. Housing as a political topic that is very real in our times, because we know that most of us, we don't have our own houses and are living there at peace and harmony with the land. But there's a lot of cities that are actually not designed in a way that we can actually be healthy, but where there's a constant over stimulation of sounds and so many other things that are not built in a way that it creates harmony. So how can we, if we come from a matriarchal lens, what are the decisions that we could take on a structural level for society? If we put life at the center, which for me is always, we put life at the center, is like, the land. What is the land? What is actually happening here? What is the biome that we are living in? What is the season? What is the weather? What is the plants, the animals, the humans? Who has been here? Who is here now? What is the motivation? And to actually make, before we build anything, to listen and to connect, no matter if we were born on the land or if life put us there for some reason, that we actually first attune and understand, where am I right now? What is my environment? And what are the different needs? What are the needs for animals? What are the needs for the water? What are the needs for plants? What are the needs for spirits? Because there's also the invisible and the subtle that is also part of the biome. If that is all at the center, what kind of houses would I build? Would I build these square blocks that are a big part of our cities and villages and houses on this planet? I don't believe that will be the case. I believe we would much more see, material of building, forms of that are actually aligned in that landscape. We would see what are the factors of weather and water, and how can we restore water landscapes. This is a big one, because most of our places that we live in, they're not in right relationship with water. What if we really understand that, how water moves on this planet, and actually create biomes where water can freely flow and circulate in the different stages, and actually that our gardens and soils and forests are again, in a healthy relationship with water, and that we support whatever has been destroyed or we have destroyed, that we rebuild a healthy relationship, that water actually can, from permaculture, can, when it comes, that it can spread, slow down and sink, so that the earth actually can be filled with water, so that then natural sources and lakes and rivers can again, find its flow. What if we look at all those things before we build something, and really take time to live at a place and attune to a place and listen to a place? And what would be the loss, how would we still have the illusion of that we can own land? No, because we understand these are all living forms that are in deep interconnectedness together, and that depend on each other, and that we depend on them. So we really shift there, also, I don't own my daughter, I don't own my husband. I'm in deep relationship with my daughter, my husband, and my family. some more, with some less. And I am, as a mother, I'm a steward. I'm here as a sacred steward for these realities. So there is, again, I care for, I care. It's not that I can own it, I can care for it, and that has a value in itself. Like, we humans, we can create such amazing realities if we really are in that principle and really are in that connection with the aliveness of different places. And I feel this is very important, that we have as a political understanding, that it, like, really have their completely different laws and rights. And why do waters and mountains and forests not have rights for just to exist? Like, everywhere, as it's just like this is the normal. And why do we need to put, like, on things that are cultivated naturally, put organic? Why is it not the opposite, that organic things, that's just nature? And when we put poison and we cultivate things that are genetically modified or whatever, then we have to put a yellow neo sticker on it and say, like, hey, we have been under the spell of capitalism because we need this and this and this and that. So we do that, but be aware if you eat that. Like, why is there so much? Why does capitalism have such a power in our times? And can we see and feel that this is a consequence of not being life at the center, but capital at the center, the capital logic at the center, and then the individual gain and all the the different consequences because of individual gain is as a motor for so many others. And what if we there just really stand up collective and say, like, stop, no, we don't participate in this. Like, if we really deeply are connected with the mother principle, we come into this agency, because every mother, we know that from nature, every mother is the most dangerous animal. And if we really connect again with that power, we stand up and we say, no, we are here to protect life. We take care of life. We don't allow this to happen. And with that, again, comes also the capacity to grieve, because every child goes through deep moments of grief and pain. And as a mother, we really need to learn to hold that as a part of the of the full cycle of life. And it's just part. It's actually very often when I just really allow my daughter that she can be sad, that she can be angry, that she can grieve, then it's the fastest that she can, she just feels like, hey, it's okay, I can feel this, I can experience this, I am loved, I am met, I'm witnessed in that. And very fast the next thing comes, because that is nature. That's the flow of nature. Doesn't become a big story. It doesn't go somewhere because, oh, it's it's wrong. It's not. No, this is you can be you. You can experience the full cycle. And so there also can we grieve collectively. Bringing back to political structures, what if we would have in every town and every city and every place a grieving place that is held in a circle of humans, where we can come with our stories that we have not been held and felt and witnessed. And what if we have, like, as a structural element of every political movement, a circle of elders, of elder women, but also of elder men, and that we, whatever decision we make, we bring it back to the elders, or we invite them, or they're present, or whatever. Like, how would that impact? Yeah, I'm curious. I talk now a lot of different, and I jump a bit, I spiral, I dance a bit from here, from there. But for me, it's like really understanding the pattern of mothering, of matriarchy, which is really integrating all, and the integration of all there is, like, really. And again, because it's a lot about the mother archetype, and it's I hear already, like, yeah, but what about the father? What about man? What about? And so I'm gonna share a bit more about that and integrate that, because I feel this is a big topic. that I want to also deepen in these talks more. So let's say all these examples that I've just now put into the space, this can start to all be more present in our own lives, in our relationships, in our communities, in our workplaces, in our societies. What do you feel happens to men? Because very often it's said like, yeah, but then they are, become obsolete, or they don't have a space. And do you feel that this would be the case? Because I know that would not be the case. It would actually just to put what naturally is happening in its place, and that actually would create so much space, so much freedom, so much purpose for everything and everyone to actually fall in its place as well. It's like almost like this mandala, we from a distorted, where the center somehow shifted and then it's like all upside down. It's like really to bring back the center. And again, not in perfectionism, but just in realness, in the organic, how things are organized, and where everything else finds its and as a life, as something that pulses, something that is living. Different cultures can bring their stories. Different cultures we can witness, and we can, integrate the wisdom of every culture, and especially also of men. I feel like, because in many ways I feel that men need a collective grieving once of what has happened to them, like really in an ancestral way, but also where they are right now as a collective, and listen to like what do they actually wish, like really as a reality they want to experience in being human and being men and being alive here now on planet Earth. Because most men that I know, they are or quite isolated, or not living the depth of relationship that they wish to, or they are like very hard-working animals of just making somehow this game work of capitalism and of, or then they have gone on a path of inner, and they have a bit detached themselves from the outer world, and like being in this like looking for for conscious community, and find their spaces and their freedom and their play and their purpose. Or then they are in a position where they are like really, okay, I'm a power over animal here, and I decide. Or then I'm completely broken, addicted, or have made suicide. Of course there are many more archetypes, but I feel like there's really actually a collective cry through men, going like really deeply on every level, like erotically, sexually, emotionally, like on a heart level, and spiritually and mentally also. I feel there's so much yearning, and there's so much power actually in man that has not its space, like its true space. And I feel this is, if we put these things into place, I feel then actually there is space created, a space created where man can actually really, in a way, I feel there's an exhale of like, okay, we don't need to, we are not guilty, we are not here the scapegoats, and we are not we don't have to hold it all together, and we know but actually that they can sink into the gravity of who they truly are, and what they're really holding, and what they're really burning for. Like, what if man can actually relax into in systems of care, where they're equally cared for, and where they can truly start to feel like go through initiation also because of that, because they know that they are held in a community body, that they're held in relationships, that they're held in systems that that of care, like that there's political structure of care, so that they actually can go through the very needed initiations that they need to go through, and really come to those places where I feel like this is what I'm burning for, this is what I'm willing to die for, here is my devotion, here is my service. And I feel like in a matriarchy, and I've seen that in partially that really that happens when there is a restructuring around the responsibility in a natural way, then they can really step up and but also die and also have time to grieve and time to relax and time to, like, of all the things that most men don't have time for now in our times, in our world. My daughter is coming back, so I'm gonna finish this. Maybe she's gonna run again in two, because now she's able to open the doors. Let's see. Again, like, let me know if there's a burning question, about this topic, and I can go deeper. This is just, I'm just starting to, in a birthing process, to put this information and this reimagination and practices and prayers slowly out there. This is going to be a free library for maybe generations to come, and I'm going to learn a lot. I still feel very, like, cranky and, humbly in a, oh, she's crying. Yeah, so this is real life. I'm gonna catch and be with my daughter, and let me know if there's something that touches you, that you have a question. Yeah, come in. And I just send you so much love. There she is. This is just the end. There. Yeah. Hello, Snoeverie. Okay, much love to all of you.